I recently made a video where I was covering the whole entire backstory and past of Type Soul, and how the game basically ended up to its position today, which is completely dead. And the video kind of popped off. So to continue the legacy and not actually end it off on a bad note, I'm going to make this video here where I talk about the multiple copies of Type Soul. But the thing with all these games is that they've all expanded on what Type Soul originally had to offer. So there's going to be multiple different things for each game that are just new in general. Besides that, the games I'm actually going to be playing in review are going to be these 3 copies, and I just chose them because I saw them all under the Type Soul page. And these 3 copies are going to be Type Revenge, Type Refined, and Soul's End. These are the most popular copies, if I'm correct, and there is an older one called Type Menma, but it got closed, and some of the developers for it, I think, are working on Soul's End now. So yeah. Nonetheless though, I'm going to rank all 3 of these games compared to the original Type Soul instead of each other, because I don't know if it's like some Type Soul copy beef or something like that going on. And when I'm done reviewing each game, I'll also list off all of the positives to the OG Type Soul that the game had, and all the negatives to the OG Type Soul that the game has, if there's any negatives that I experience while I'm playing. And I also want to state that I'm probably going to be progressing Soul Reaper for each of these games, or try to at least. The only time I really wouldn't be doing Soul Reaper is if like something else is just completely cooler on another race and I feel like going that race. And this ranking is also going to be based off of my experience, so you can actually experience something completely different if you were to join these games and go a different race or play for yourself. I also saw a comment, somebody said, I want to play the game again, I don't know why. And it was kind of crazy because I saw that and I was like, huh? Okay, this is a perfect video. So I'll also leave a link to the description. No, I'll leave a link in the description of all the Type Soul copy Discord servers. And besides that, the first thing that we're going to start with is going to be subscribe and like the video. I realized when I was done recording, I didn't say that once early. So the first game is going to be, please subscribe and like. Thank you. Type Revenge. So this was the first game I played, and it's probably the most basic one out of the 3 that I played. So Type Revenge, when I first joined and started playing the game, it follows the basic progression that Type Soul had. However, the EXP gain is greatly boosted. Literally within the first 2 hours of me playing the game, I was able to easily reach elite grade, which is just good. Because a really huge downside inside the old Type Soul is how often you would have to wait for your rank cooldown. So they just completely moved that. After that though, however, when actually playing the game and looking at everything that they've added, the game is pretty good and definitely an upgrade from Type Soul. The Katakura Town map was changed, which is a nice thing, and the community is also pretty small, which is nice and good. There isn't a lot of players that I experienced for this game, but it is like a European copy of Type Soul, so the player base for this type copy is like more EU based, or not really online when I was online. And this copy also added in a new legendary weapon from the old Type Soul and new Shikai as well. Now, I'm not sure if this came from another copy, because it seems like a lot of copies have these weapons, as I go over a review that I'm kind of noticing now. But for Soul Reapers in this game, if you go this race, you'll definitely have the most content. They've added in Zangetsu, Ichigo Shikai with his own custom skills. They added in Shinso, which is based off of Gen Shikai from the anime, and they all have a complete moveset along with Bankai that I don't know anything about really, because I wasn't going to torture myself to get a Bankai inside Type Soul copies. So besides that, they also lowered the requirements for Bankai and changed just every whole entire race progression as well. It's not as hard as it was to get your Bankai or endgame progression in Type Revenge as it is compared to Type Soul. And you can easily see this from Mr. Trello, even though I didn't actually myself. The requirement for the Bankais or just any endgame progression is pretty much just grip people, which is very easy to do. Outside of that, Soul Reapers and Arrancars also have content, with theirs mainly being the new Sukuna Resurrection based off of Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen, which is honestly very cool. I didn't see anybody with it, but it was listed there on the Trello. They also have Argante, which is based off of Espada number 2, and the Panther Resurrection, which is from Grimmjow. Quincy's, however, don't actually have anything, and I'm not even sure if they're inside the game that much, because within my time of playing, which was literally for like maybe 2 to 4 hours on the game, I haven't seen any Quincy's at all, and if I did, I most likely forgot about them because they kind of seem like an extinct race. The skills in the game are the same, and the items that drop are Hogoku fragments, which are also made to a lot easier to get. In general, you can get anything easily inside this copy. It really is just like a tight-knit community that's mainly kind of preserving the PvP of Type Soul and adding in like their own small twist to it, and it's also EU based. So if there's any people who are from Europe and watch this video and do want to experience like a Type Soul copy with not really much of a change from Type Soul, this game would actually be perfect for you. For an overall rating on the game compared to Type Soul, I would actually say that this game is nice to play. New things that they've added from Type Soul, and I didn't list this at the start of the video, but at the end of rating each of these, I'm just going to list off almost everything new that I've noticed when I was playing. But the new things that they've added from Type Soul are going to be new Shikai, new resurrections, better progression, new weapons, a new map, and they also have a ranked arena queuing system. The core combat of the game feels just like Type Soul, like legit a one-on-one of it, without much of a changes, but kind of on a different map, which isn't bad because Type Soul is a good game with nice combat. Outside of that, the game doesn't really have any negatives because it's still just a direct upgrade from Type Soul that constantly receives updates. I'm pretty sure like every 2 days this game is receiving an update, and they're just trying to expand the community outside of that. So if you want a game that's kind of close to Type Soul with a smaller community and has the same PvP without much of a change, I feel like Type Revenge is a good game to actually represent that. Soul's End. Now this is the second game I played, and I want to say this at the start that this game is kind of a direct continuation of Type Menma. The owners of this game were part of the management team within Type Menma, and they're now working on Soul's End. They also watch one of my videos, so thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. Gang. Following off of that though, this game so far has the best movement and combat in it for me personally. When I was playing the game and actually fighting against people and friends, it was pretty easy for me to use my skills along with all of the new stuff and progression that they've added and changed for the game. To list some things off, the Katakura Town map is completely different. Now this was my first time seeing this KT map, but then after playing it in this game, I've seen it instead like 2 more Type Soul copies that I was considering adding to this game. Even still though, the progression inside this game is also completely revamped, and you can easily get to elite grade within like 1 hour because that's what it took me. There is an issue though with the progression that I experienced, and when I was playing the game, the mission boards inside Soul Society weren't working, and when I also went back to the overworld or just KT, the mission boards over there weren't working that much as well. So I actually had to switch off of Soul Reaper and end up going Arrancar because it was just much easier to progress. And I don't know if Soul Reapers were like kind of bugged inside the game, but besides that, there is a lot of new stuff that they've added, and even cutscenes in general, which was pretty cool and nice to see. Some of the things that I personally liked the most when I was playing was definitely seeing all of the new Shikais, and the Sukuna for this game is probably one of the best ones I've seen so far, because the domain expansion actually does a cutscene that makes everybody watch it. I'm not sure if it was playing Sukuna's voice line, you'll actually see it up on the screen because I was able to record it when I was playing, but along with that, there are a lot of new things for literally every race in regards to weapons inside the game. Quincy's, Arrancars, and Soul Reapers all have like 3 new weapons, along with each race also having 2 to 4 new Shikais, Reses, Strips, etc. There's even a shield that you can fight with, or a Spades card that you can also fight with as well for a weapon inside this game. So they've added a lot to this whole entire game in general, coming off of like the original Type Soul. And I'm not sure if this is like the OG Type Soul Hueco map, but they do have a different type of Hueco as well with like a red background. And if I'm being honest, the only downside for me personally when I was playing this game is that since I'm new and kind of late to it, almost every fight that I got into was kind of one-sided because I was just going against people like with literally maxed out builds. They either had like complete Wizard, or they were a Vasto Lord with like, you know, the 3 question marks that most max people have. And outside of that, I don't have any skill boxes or hog frags to fight with them too, so I was literally just like an elite grades trying to box with literally the cream of the crop. But that's not really a game issue, it's just a me issue. So the only other downside for me personally is that I just don't like the KT Town map because it's too big. And even coming back to that, that's more of a me issue than a game issue. So outside of those 2 me personal issues, this game is actually pretty good, and it definitely has the most content so far that I've seen inside of a Type Soul copy. And besides that, this game definitely has a lot more content than the other Type Soul copy that I was talking about, Type Revenge, and it was a pretty nice one to play. The game definitely is an upgrade from the original Type Soul, and I would recommend you to play it if you want to get an upgraded experience with a lot of new things. Now, I'm not sure if this one is mainly EU or if it's EU and NA mixed together, but The new things that they've added from the original Type Soul for Soul's End are going to be 3 to 4 new Shikai, Res, and Volt for, each race. 3 to 4 new weapons for each race, which is honestly really cool. They reworked the whole entire progression, just made it a lot faster. They have a new map for each race besides Soul Society. New skills for each skill tree, so like Speed, Hakuda, Kendo, they have new skills on the skill tree. And in general, I'm probably missing some things for this game because they added a lot, and I'm not even sure if the Trello is like an accurate representation of everything that they added. But there's still constantly new stuff being added, and the game's receiving frequent updates almost like every 2 days, just like Type Revenge. One thing I learned with almost all these copies is that the developers for it are really active. Like, they update these games constantly, and there's also a lot of easy access to codes as well. When I was playing this game, and any Type Soul copy to actually be correct with that, I was able to get codes and just be able to spin off anything that I wanted. I had minimum 80 spins on like any Type Soul copy, which is honestly really cool because you was basically able to try out whatever you wanted. Type Refined. So this game is the last one that I played, or the third one that I played actually, and it's the one that had the most content by a huge margin. The owner of this game also stated that this is really just made so they can practice their own developer skills and have fun. So this is a Type Soul copy, but not an official Type Soul copy. It's kind of like a playground for the owner to just do whatever they want to do. And I'm still going to cover it. So since they added so much content to the game, I'm actually just going to cover what I personally like and don't like about it first. There isn't really any downsides to the game, so I actually don't have anything to say for that. It's literally just positives, and the positives for it is honestly just the content and how developers actually handle and update this game. One of the upcoming updates for this game is going to be huge, and it's update 3. They're going to be adding multiple unique hand fighting styles. They're also adding gems to this game. They're also adding Rinnegan and Sharingan, Gojo Resurrection, Hollow Purple, and there's just so much in general. There's also like a Wukong armor set coming to the game, kind of based off of I think his name is Mori from God of High School. The main character of God of High School, they're just adding his armor set. So adding armor sets to this game as well. They even have Toji's Inverted Spear of Heaven, multiple new resurrections, Shikais, and Volts, new weapons. Along with that, the whole entire Shunko skill tree has a specific path depending on what you go. So there's a Shunko for fire, there's a Shunko for electric, there's a Shunko for wind, and a Shunko for ice. And it's honestly just the coolest thing for me, because this game is literally expanding on almost everything that Type Soul had, and just like making it their own kind of unique thing. The game also has Binding Vows, which is a like whole entire concept from Jujutsu Kaisen that I can't really even explain to you because the readers don't even understand it fully. And Binding Vows is essentially just a way for you to get a whole new set of skills, and I could only assume that there's going to be some type of drawback to this game. This game is probably the biggest upgrade for a Type Soul copy and has the most content out of all of them by far, and it's honestly really nice and probably my personal favorite one that I played. Things that I've listed off here probably aren't even just everything that's added to the game or coming to the game. They're also reworking the whole entire Katakura Town map, and judging from some of the sneaks that they've shown, it seems like it's just going to be something that they've completely made themselves. If you actually do decide to play this though, the majority of the people inside the game are max level, so you have to catch up at your own rate, and some of the fights that you'll be getting into are just going to be like completely maxed out players. You'll have to get your own hog frags and everything else, which is pretty easy because they drop when you kill people. It's not hard to actually get those items. But overall, this game is a huge direct upgrade to Type Soul and has a lot of content, so you can also play this as well. In general, things that I've listed off from me playing this game for like the new stuff that they've added from the original Type Soul is going to be 4 new fighting styles, 4 Shunko upgrades, 1 new Shikai, 4 new resurrections, 1 new Shrift, a new item called an artifact. They also have Vows of Masteries, blessings, new moves for the skill tree, new maps, and new weapons. And overall, this game is very, very good. So hopefully you did enjoy this video. This is actually probably going to be the last Type Soul covering type of video. And I do want to state that I do appreciate all the support on just my videos in general, because the last one did really good. And if you want to see more stuff like that, feel free to like and subscribe, because I'm going to keep this quality and content coming. So let me actually know what game you would actually try out from this whole entire pick that I lined up for you. And besides that, thank you for watching, and hopefully you did enjoy.